The shipwrecking trade is big in Bangladesh, but the workers who turn sea vessels into mountains of scrap metal are very likely to be shipwrecked themselves. Here's a look at their dangerous livelihood.
These ships, on their final journey to the breakers' yard in Bangladesh, bring with them a deadly cargo. The workers who reduce the huge vessels to piles of scrap metal and recyclable parts face the very real prospect of injury, disease and even death. At least 10 people have been killed in the past year. Some of the country's shipbreaking workforce of around 30,000 in more than 20 yards are now getting safety equipment and training, but it's not universal.
I have
learned how to cut ships. Now I'm doing the job wearing boots on my feet, gloves on my hands, a helmet on my head and dark glasses over my eyes.
In the early days, the casualties were mostly from explosions aboard scrapped oil tankers. More recent deaths have been the result of falling steel or falling workers. Health experts say carcinogenic chemicals and acetylene cutting equipment add to the risks of illness.
These health hazards are mainly physical, mechanical, biological and psychological effects. These effects are mainly dermatitis, burn and ulceration.
Bangladesh's shipbreakers produce 1.8 million tons of scrap steel a year. The ships come from several sources, including Western nations. The shipbreakers say the scrap is worth a lot to a country that has no iron ore of its own.
Pre-rolling mills is dependent mostly on this, as because the steel scrap rate in abroad is very high, so we cannot afford. We are using the generators for reuse in our factories, and we are using the electric goods also here.
The labourers get the equivalent of just under $4.40 for a 12-hour day. In a country where 5% of its 150 million population is unemployed, such work is the only way to feed their families despite the daily risk to life and limb.